Everything the light touches is our kingdom.
I don't want them to gain another yard.
You blitz all night!
To infinity and beyond!
What? Did we just become best friends? Yep!
It's morphin' time!
If you can dodge a wrench, you can dodge a ball.
10,000 years will give you such a crick in the neck.
What are you smiling about? Dude, I almost had you.
But it ain't about how hard you hit. It's about how hard you can get hit and keep moving forward. How much you can take and keep moving forward. That's how winning is done.
I am king of Wakanda.
I am Groot.
I am Iron Man.
I am William Wallace. I am Batman.
This is the Poi N Soy Podcast.
Avengers!
Assemble.
Welcome back to the podcast, ladies and gentlemen. You are here with the boys of Poi N Soy on our post-credits segment. Post-credits is the segment where we go through movies, TV, entertainment, and all the good stuff in between. I am your co-host, Nolan Chang. With me, as always, are my longtime friends and co-hosts, Keoni, McKeague, Jalen Holston. Say what's up to the crowd.
What's up, you fuckers?
Hey, we're back. Oh, we got everything, Dan. We got Star Wars, we got Marvel, we got freaking, everything in between those two big properties, of course, for sure, right? Yeah. All the things. HBO? Why not? Yeah, throw a little bit of that in there.
Yeah, we are coming in hot today. We're just going to be doing some reviews because obviously all three of us have seen Thunderbolts. And it is our duty as your content creators, your movie buddies, to bring you a review of said movie, Thunderbolts. Asterisk. We'll get to the asterisk later, but you get what we mean. But before we get to all the reviews, we got to give a big shout out to our partners at W and our favorite powdered energy supplement, coming in beautiful little tubs, delicious flavors. Whether you're working out, going to the gym, errands, chores, you name it, W's got your back and it'll get you through the day. So go to w.gg or the app W Energy and use the promo code Poi N Soy, POINSOY, for 10% off your order. Not only supporting them as a business, you're supporting us as content creators. And we appreciate you all for it.
That's right.
Oh, before we get started, Rich Carmelanger wanted me to say hello, Keoni.
Oh, what's up, my
Coached
boy?
against him on Sunday.
Right on.
Yeah, that was
an
intense game, but yes, in 3.
I said, who won?
Oh, I thought you said you won.
Yes.
Intense
Rich,
game
huh?
in
There's
3.
a language barrier.
Hey.
He's remembering. No, that's just
No.
Norton.
No, but we did pull it out in 3. Hard fought battle. It was our
Right
pool was
on.
the last one of the day. Like that was how long the pool was. Like in how tight in competition the whole pool was. So we're gonna start off pretty simple, just to kind of get our mouths moving, get our juices flowing. Sinners recently worldwide just completed their second weekend, I believe third weekend, and they have pulled in a total of $250 million worldwide for an R-rated horror movie. Original screenplay. This thing was a banger. Keoni and I have both seen it. From the cultural aspect of it, to the acting, to the story that was written, to the chemistry on screen from all characters involved, it was quite a movie.
To the infinite Josh Allen memes about his now fiance, Haley Steinfeld. I have never been in a better state of being than logging on to Twitter every single day, talking about how he probably did get some back shots in on Haley Steinfeld.
Wow.
Realistically.
We did not claim nothing, okay?
Oh, wow.
I'm not claiming anything, but I find it very
just
not
claimed.
possible.
I mean, I wasn't going to say it like that, but
It's
a bit too-
on-screen
there's-
chemistry was top notch from 2
There's
A-list
chemistry,
actors, and
then there's chemistry.
I was like, they wasn't even in the movie in a lot of these interviews.
And a lot
where
of
the
these
chemistry
things
just kept going. You know what I mean?
apparently
I'm
there's
just
a lot of
saying.
improv lines that she just wanted to say.
Needless to say, if you have not seen it already, go out and see Sinners. It will be returning to IMAX based on audience response, which is phenomenal for the movie, for Ryan Coogler, Michael B. Jordan. I believe
printing money right now too.
Yeah, the later half of May, I think it's returning to IMAX.
Jeez.
I think the budget was like 90 million, which makes sense when you see it. It's a lot of practical effects, so it wasn't a lot of CGI necessary. But go give it a watch. Definitely worth the time, worth the money, worth everything. The popcorn, the drink. Go do it. Just go.
I knew I should have done double feature. I knew it. Yeah.
Honestly, it was worth the money. Yeah. What a time to be alive. Great movies coming out.
I was definitely watching the movie, and like the first 25 minutes, I totally forgot that there was going to be vampires. Like, that's how enthralled in the story I was. I was like, huh, you're right. It's going to be bad at the end of this.
Also,
just get these two together, make Michael B. Jordan the Blade instead of Mahershala Ali.
Thank you. Thank you for saying what I was about to say. Thank you.
I love you, Mahershala, but clearly Ryan Coogler and Michael B. Jordan is just the dynamic duo that we need in Hollywood right now. Just make it happen. Just cast Haley Steinfeld again to play Jessica Biel's old character, whatever his face is, his daughter, and we're good to go. Bow bang. More nightmares for Josh Allen. That's what I like. That'd be anything in that realm.
All right. Good luck on the next season, Josh Allen. That's all I have to say. I could just imagine someone picking up a sign, just like Haley and Michael B. Jordan.
Whoa. Like if somebody used that one scene from Sinners, like that'd be kind of wild, but low key, that would throw him off his game. You know what I mean? I'm just saying.
My boy ain't ready for all that. He need himself a nice hometown girl. That's all I'm saying.
Damn. That's
all I'm saying.
Anywho, starting off our reviews for today, we're going to start off with The Last of Us Episode 3. Now, at the time of us recording it, Episode 4 has released, but we got to get to number 3 first, so we got to keep it in order. Gentlemen, I'll just kind of throw it over to you guys. The Last of Us has had some stuff happen in Episode 2, where we say farewell to Joel in present time of the storyline of the Season 2. And Episode 3 is the first episode, sans Joel, of the series, technically, if you're not counting certain, like the flashback one with the episode 3 of last season. But you know, we are kind of in a situation where a lot of the social media sphere would like to know, like, how is this show gonna do now that they've kind of lost their attraction to the show in Pedro Pascal?
Anchor, right?
Yeah, right. You know what I mean? But what were your guys' thoughts on this episode? Do you think that this episode was a good follow-up to what tragically happened in episode 2?
I think on paper, yes. And I think from a performance standpoint, she did everything that she was supposed to do. You know what I mean? Agree. She made us feel a certain type of way, right? But the worry that I did have entering the season, right, and entering the first 2 episodes, I think without Joel there, this kind of magnified that for me as far as her ability to just carry and supposed to be this older version of Ellie with all this other emotional baggage. It kind of, I mean, this episode kind of put it right in your face and exposed a lot of it for me personally. Now, is that to say it was violently unwatchable and she's a terrible actress and you can't get through the show and still enjoy it? No. But it is a critique that I do have. And I will say, if there are people that are big fans of the game and are going to critique it, they are completely valid because I felt that way as well. I, however, am just a general film and movie TV person, so I get it that they just wanted to stick with Belle Ramsey. But it is what it is. She just doesn't fit this version of Ellie. Even though she's really great, she just isn't. It's not working for me on that level. So, but she did a phenomenal job. I love that they took time to have a pseudo funeral for Joel with her in that scene. And Isabel Merced, my God, what a year she's gonna have. So she's gonna be in a superhero blockbuster. She's in this show. I'm sure. I think she's got one other project that's coming up soon too, as well, if I'm not mistaken. She's like a hot ticket in Hollywood right now. So
you heard it here first. Jalen called Superman a superhero blockbuster.
It is what. That's not inaccurate. That's what it is. That's what it's supposed to be.
I know.
She's in a big IP, and then she's in this big IP. I mean, like, whoever her agent is, kudos, bro. Kudos.
Coming from being Dora the Explorer.
That's what I'm saying. Like, what a glow up. Like, The ultimate glow up of all time.
Disrespect. It's like Dora. No,
Dora was a fire movie, dog. Okay,
was it?
Donde está el mapa, dude? Okay, I learned everything from that, dude.
On the map.
On the map, dude. Okay.
I do gotta, because you did mention the performance of Bella Ramsey. I do think that the scene where she wakes up on the gurney in the hospital,
that was pretty
and
intense.
immediately
That
has
was
that
pretty
like PTSD scream, flashback, emotional, just crash out. I think that was phenomenal. I do think that I feel like for me, I do agree that she just doesn't. I mean, I haven't played the second game, but I don't think she fits the mold of where I would assume someone that's being an adult right now would be, who's grown up in a world that's post-apocalyptic, that's grown up in an isolated town where their whole lifestyle is survival lifestyle and being mature about certain things. That being said, I do feel like there's going to be a payoff. I do think that there's going to be way more emotional scenes that are going to come this season where Bella Ramsey's ability as an actress is going to kind of their decision to keep her there as afloat. As I move this over to you, Keoni, I had to ask, obviously they have kind of like the town meeting, deciding, are they going to go seek revenge for Joel's murder against Abby and the Wolves? Was this something that was a part of the game, or was it kind of just insinuated? Because it is, it is an exposition episode, you know what I mean? It wasn't necessarily a lot of go out, do murderous things, go hunting, or whatever you call it. But there was a lot of build up to kind of create what's going to be the next path for episode 4 and so on and so forth. Was this something that was a part of the game, or was this kind of...
No, it definitely was part of the game.
Okay,
yeah.
right on.
Her speech was like almost word for... Actually, probably was word for word. Yeah. I was like, so, I mean, that whole thing was in there. Definitely made sense that they wanted to portray it. I agree, honestly. Like, I think taking the cap of, like, you want to protect Bella Ramsey's career, you know what I mean, off... I can't agree more that, like, there are certain things that it's like, okay, it's kind of hard to buy because you do sound young, you look very young, you know what I mean? There are parts of this where it's like hard to, like, it's almost harsh to the ears a little bit when she says something, like, even like when she's talking about sex in some of the scenes, it's kind of like, it's like a 13-year-old talking about sex, you know what I mean?
I don't feel comfortable hearing it from you, personally.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like, it's not...
There's the episode 4 then.
So I could definitely see why the critiques are there, and I think taking off the, like, you don't want to ruin Bella Ramsey's career thing, I understand that critique. So I agree, couldn't agree anymore. As far as this episode, I mean, I think he hit it on the head. I mean, Isabella freaking killed this one, and I think she's just as bright of a future as Bella Ramsey. We'll see how the rest of this, you know what I mean? Yeah, exactly. We'll see how the rest of this progresses. I definitely think that.
Not to be rude, but probably brighter. Okay, that's a yeah.
Got the acting chops, got the actress look. Yeah,
she's gonna be the next like J-Lo. Okay,
I don't know,
just gonna look the same for 20 years.
I think Isabella Merced might be a little older.
I think she's in her 20s.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure she's like a year or two older than Bella right now.
Probably.
Oh, yeah, I was gonna say she got to be pretty young. I mean, she did play Dora, so I mean, it's like gotta imagine she was like
teenager Dora,
yeah. But she was probably in her 18 or whatever. Anyway, all that to say that great episode. You know what I mean? Fantastic acting by everybody involved. I mean, to answer your question from the beginning of this though, I don't think that it's going to be very hard for the rest of the cast to carry as far as like the storytelling part of this, because if you're watching the show, especially if you are a person who is a fan of the game, you already knew what was going to happen. So it's like if you came into this thinking you're going to see Pedro for the entire thing, you didn't play the game then. Yeah, exactly. I'm like, so like,
what do you do?
Did you not play the game? Or so to me, it's like if you're expecting him to have been around for the whole season randomly, like they just Walking Dead it and just change the deaths of characters, then you're already setting yourself up for failure. So as far as like them continuing the story, I do think that there's enough talent in the rest of the cast to kind of keep it going. I really like is it Diego Luna? No, not Diego. What is his name? the other Luna brother. That I thought it was Diego's
Ghost
brother,
Rider.
but
yeah. Why can't I? It is.
I can't remember.
Is it
I just went with
Gabriel?
Ghost Rider.
No?
Gabriel Luna.
Oh, it is
Gabriel
Gabriel Luna.
Luna.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay. So Gabriel Luna, yeah. I mean, I think he's been fantastic, as we'll sort of, and as you're kind of already hinting towards. There's the building of that sort of relationship. So I think he'll do great in that spot. Obviously, Pedro wasn't going to stick around, and I think for logistic reasons, obviously, there's a lot of stuff that Pedro's going to be around for in other places. So if you really miss Pedro that much, there's
Just
1,000 other things with him in it. You know what I mean? Like,
Also, shout out to Catherine O'Hara. She's just a gem every time she comes on the screen, like, during that little
Let's say that's the
league
therapist,
baseball
right?
game. Yeah.
yes.
She's just
sitting there.
amazing.
She's just
Yeah.
like
Isn't she great?
So good,
so
yeah.
pessimistic, but it's
Whipping
like
out the beer.
someone's
like,
got to do it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, whatever.
Um,
Can I ask this though, Keoni?
yeah.
Because there is this sentiment
Oh,
on
Mhm.
the flip side. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, so I think there is some contentment with the show,
Mhm.
right? To not take a creative liberty and keep Joel in the show, even though he wasn't in the game.
Yeah.
Because that was a divisive decision back then, and a lot of people try to knock The Last of Us 2 for that story decision and say the story is mid compared to the first game because they did all that and some of the other choices they made. Is that
That's very
something
true.
like you would hold in that contention? Is like, would that have helped the show for you? Would you have been like salt that they kept Joel in that scene, or like seen more of Joel in that way? Like, what would it have been like for you?
No, honestly, I don't think I would have hated seeing him more on screen. I think it would have been cool to sort of flesh out the time of like when he wasn't around, but that's really the only real way I could see them having done it, because it's like
it would have ruined the whole
his
storyline.
yeah, exactly.
Right.
His death is a very large part of what's to come for the rest of this, and obviously the building up. But hey, if Pedro Pascal pops up in the next like 5 episodes as like some sort of like cool flashback to the last 15 years or whatever it's
Shows
been
up
since.
alive. You missed my judgment.
Yeah, okay. That just him, like his hand coming out of the grave, like
Lightning to strike.
But yeah, I mean, I would not have hated him coming around for more scenes. Honestly, I mean, it wouldn't have bothered me. Yeah,
Right on.
Yeah. So that
well-
angle I did understand from some sentiment. Like,
Oh, yeah.
I guess it's a show.
Yeah.
Why not adapt it and give us more Pedro Pascal when the game's decision was so divisive?
Yeah.
But I just
Agree.
found it interesting. That's
yeah.
Well, episode 4 has released, so we will get to that and come at you with a review of it next week. There is something
You
actually I
betcha.
do want to ask you for next week, so remind me that there is a liberty that they take in this show that I read is different than the game that I would like to get your opinion on.
Oh,
Yeah, it's a small one, but we'll see where
Is
it
it
could
all?
lead.
mhm.
Um,
I was to say him. I haven't watched it yet, so curious now.
Moving on, we're going to hit Andor. Now, 6 episodes have released. They're sticking to the 3 episodes every week. One cluster of episodes for the year of Andor leading up to Rogue One. I'm going to be a little bit pessimistic. I think that this has been phenomenal writing. I think that this has been great storytelling. I think it's building up something phenomenal. I do hear that the back half is supposed to be more balls to the wall, but I do feel slightly it hasn't met the bar of season 1 yet. I do feel that there's a lot left on maybe on the cutting room floor, or maybe something where they want a bigger payout for the second half of the season, where this first half just doesn't seem like it's clicking the way you would want it to. It feels more like maybe a political drama, if we're like a spy political drama, which is what the first one did, but in spades. You know what I mean? This one seems like it's kind of like a procedural show where they're just kind of talking and something's gonna happen. Well, what's gonna happen? I don't know yet. Something's gonna happen.
Yeah.
But I want to get your guys' take. Am I alone in this, or are you guys kind of on the same boat?
Thank God you said it. I was going to say this has been buns compared to season 1. Like, absolutely. Literally, the first 3 episodes, what happens? He gets stuck on a freaking island with the
That was a
TIE
complete
fighter.
filler. Like what?
What are we doing? Like, this is supposed to be the like we're hitting the jet. Like, it's going time.
Also, in the
first
4
3
through
episodes,
6, where's
nothing
the TIE
happens.
fighter?
Where's
stole
the
a TIE
TIE fighter?
And
You steal a TIE fighter? Where would it happen? That's a very valuable asset to have in a rebellion, I would think. But like,
Maybe it'll
like,
happen. Maybe they still have it stored somewhere. You know.
I'm hoping these last 3 episodes really seal the deal and it concludes there. Because like honestly, if it doesn't, this is just a sham compared to the first season. I think episode I will say of the second portion of the 3, right? The episodes, I guess, would be 5 and 6 were probably the 2 most season 1 feeling episodes so far, because there were it's so much talking about nothing in the first 4 episodes.
Yeah,
there's so much talking.
Honestly.
And doing this, it's supposed to be world building, but literally nothing is happening. There's no stakes. There's no reason to be in the scenes with these characters.
Everybody else
There's no
find
reason
that
to
song
care.
super annoying too. The one that she was dancing
like
to.
The techno one. I was like,
that freaking, what is it? We're doing club stuff in the space now.
She's like,
I've never seen a Star Wars rave, but I guess it happened. You know, whatever. Space ecstasy. Whoa. Like. That's what it felt like.
It did.
Yeah, it was exactly what it was.
But yeah, so I hope it kicks ass on its finale, because this has been, out of the 6 episodes, I've only found 2 interesting, which is a shame. Because every episode in season 1, you were like, "What is gonna happen next? Holy cow!" No offense, that's a high bar to meet, right? We can't expect absolute peak cinema for the whole thing, but like, damn, like, can I get it in episode 2 or 3? Like, damn, bro, like, I get a slow pilot, like, but give me something, dog. Like, yeah, this has been yikes for me so far. So, very cool to see Saul Guerrero though.
Yeah,
younger and more crazy Saul Guerrero. By the way,
a little bit, and
that was cool.
And you understand why he's a little crazy, you know.
Huffing them fumes will probably do some stuff to you. Yeah.
But it's nice to see a little bit more backstory on like where he's at. Jalen, what did you think of the? I know they said it was a scheduling conflict, and I think it probably was just based on the fact that he's been invested in like the Obi-Wan series, but having Benjamin Bratt as Gil Organa instead of the original actor.
Honestly, I thought it was cool because like that's a character that can be recast anytime they would like, and it's not going to change anything.
We
Honestly,
know what his
Mon
fate
Mothra,
is.
Right, exactly. We know where he ends up, so it literally doesn't matter. Just recast the character when you need to recast the character.
Yeah.
I feel the same about Mon Mothra too. Like she could be recast. I know she's like iconic and whatnot, and obviously that actress has played her forever. But like at some point in time, you can just recast the actress. It's not a big deal. Like Carrie Fisher is the only one that gets that tag because no one is Carrie Fisher. Literally no one.
Yeah, that's true.
But like Mark Hamill, I'm sorry. Like anyone, like somebody else can play a young Luke. Harrison Ford, I'm sorry. Anyone else can play a young, Han Solo. So which already happened. And honestly, I thought that actor did a phenomenal job. His movie just sucked. You know what I mean? Like it just is what it is. So yeah, I these legacy characters for me outside of Leia are literally replaceable. They can be redone.
That's fair.
Childish Gambino, awesome recast, did a great job. Like I loved his.
He was
rendition
fantastic.
Of that character.
Yeah,
he was amazing.
So,
yeah, there you go.
Well done. Keoni, what are your thoughts on the Andor?
Yeah, I was with you guys wholeheartedly. Okay. That's why I was kind of being quiet because I was in full agreement. Honestly, like I know I'm only through episode 5 so far, but just telling by how you guys reacted to episode 5 and 6. Clearly, I don't have a lot to look forward to in episode 6.
You're
6 is a banger. 5 is a banger. I personally thought, but it's just like, why did I have to sit through 4 trash?
6 does a lot of building, and then there is a payoff in episode 6.
Gotcha. Right on.
Yes.
Okay.
There actually
I was like,
is some stakes that come through.
Ironically, and I don't mean to like target her specifically, but even like the Bix part of the story has like kind of
drugged out version.
Yeah, it's kind of.
What is she doing? What is her character doing?
She's just trying to have a good time, man.
Like I get it. It's based on the whole PTSD of like what happened in the first but to me it's one of those things that's kind of just dragging at this point. And I mean, unless it ends up being one of those crazy like unalive moments, which it seemed like that was what it was heading to at the end of that episode.
I think episode 6 will answer that for you.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah.
Does she unalive her?
No. I mean,
no.
She tackles her trauma, I guess is the best way to put it.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Well, They get
Tackles
gotcha.
is
Well,
the word you want to use.
I mean, she.
That's the word you chose.
All right,
Does she
well,
kill
you
the
want us
guy?
to spoil it? You want us to spoil it?
I want him to watch it and then understand why I had that.
I could have said another word, but it would have given a lot away. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, up until this point, I honestly haven't really.
That might have been suitable.
Addressed your trauma.
Tackled. What you want to go with?
I haven't really latched onto anything yet. I feel like this one has been pretty mid. It's even more weird is that I feel like I was actually more like excited about that last Star Wars show with the kids, like the Goonies one.
Skeleton Crew.
Yeah, there was a lot more to like watching that one. I get it. There's like a lot of the cinematography stuff that they kind of kept through this show, and clearly it looks great. They have great acting and all that sort of stuff. It's just been kind of boring, to be quite frank. Yeah,
That's fair.
Yeah.
This is the equivalent of like you get all the shiniest pieces of art or like the most beautiful people in the world, and then they open their mouth and you never want to hear them talk again. Like that's the script. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like that's the plot. Because like you said, the shots, amazing. Same from season one. The world, the atmosphere, the vibe, amazing. Same from season one. And then they start talking, and I want to just shove a pin into my ear hole and never hear them speak again. Because nothing's happening with these characters. Sometimes.
Like I literally like just pick up my phone and go scroll through Instagram once Cyril comes on the screen. Like, I really don't care about you, dude. Like,
I don't.
You're kind of a bitch.
Literally,
who's that?
You're kind of a bitch.
The Imperial officer dude who's like,
oh god, yeah. Okay. Also, I mean,
at least
I don't
got confirmed from season one because we called that as well. Like
I don't want to be an a-hole about it, but my goodness, that lady is very hard to look at on screen. I think it's his his
the love,
girlfriend.
yeah, it's the weird
the blonde
blonde
lady
that we
oh my gosh.
carried over from season one.
It's really
she's
hard
weird.
to watch her just from the look of her. But Bianca was like,
scary.
It just makes sense that she looks that way because she's from space. I was just like, oh. So everybody, everybody looks messed up in space, I guess. I don't know. Yeah.
I
anyway,
love your optimism.
that was a very nice way of putting it. I'm just like, oh yeah, wow, that's why they picked her. Yeah.
Well, I think if I remember correctly, we have 2 more weeks left, 6 more episodes, 3 more coming out this week. We'll see. I'm hoping it was kind of just like, hey, welcome to our art gallery. Here's the lesser known pieces really quick, and then once you get into it, here's the grand finale. Okay.
I mean, there was a lot of hype. You know what I mean?
I know.
I mean, all these a little bit of the, like I talked about off pod where we're like the Peaky Blinders thing, where it's like first season dope because they're like building their empire. It's like, oh, they're scrapping for everything. There's like a cool element. That's like the first season of this, and then like once they were like rich and super powerful, then it was kind of just one of those like every episode was just talking, and that's basically what's happening with this one. It's like now they're finally in a somewhat decent spot as far as like they're still taking risks, but they're they're like a little more equipped and all. It's a little boring. Yeah,
I'm gonna give it. Yeah,
go ahead.
Scorching hot take. This show should have been not this formulaic garbage of doing like 1 year every 3 episodes. This should have just been a 4-season series. Each year is leading up to the year of Rogue One. Like,
agree.
We can get through a year and a half or 2 years in one season. Like, we can pace it that way. So like, because the format to me is leaving out like stuff that could be interesting. Like, we could have gotten through that entire first episode in probably 20 minutes of one episode of season 2, right? Like the whole getting the ship and finding some stuff out. That's like the opening act of the first episode pilot of season 2, and then we deal with the big stuff. We deal with that really quickly, and we move on to that. Like, the pacing needs to be more on brand for what this second season should have felt like, right? Like, I get we've got trauma stuff, but like we're about to go to blows in Rogue One, so like
pay this man.
Let's get active. Let's get active. So
pay him right now.
Yeah, that's my hot take. I think this idea was cool in concept, terrible execution so far. And like I said, we got 2 more sessions of episodes. I could be wrong. I'm totally willing to eat my shoe.
2 more, right?
Is it? I thought it was. I thought it was 9.
Episodes?
Is it 9 or 12? Give it a Google.
It's just like, you the host. I'm like,
give it a Google.
How many?
I just show up here, dog. No.
We need a fact checker Rob here.
Fact checker Rob. 12. All right, so we do got 2 more weeks. Gotcha.
Okay, so we got like I said, I could be totally wrong.
Let's do this.
I could be eating my shoe in 2 weeks and be like, holy cow, those last 6 episodes were phenomenal, right? Like, but it just, oh man, this is a rough, slow burn if it is a slow burn.
Could you imagine if they had to do the 1 week thing? 1 week episode, one episode a week.
Dear
oh my gosh.
God.
I think we would have stopped.
I honestly also think this is probably why they decided to do that. And said, hey, why
they
don't
knew
we
the
just...
opening was so slow and
they
so
just
garbage.
bunch it up. Let's
just bunch it up and chunk through it.
But, you know, a lot of critics, a lot of people who were given the whole season have reviewed it and have very high praise for it. So I'm hoping not everyone's a liar, or I hope we're not the outliers of this, right? Okay. But
hopefully we look stupid in 2 weeks. You know what I mean?
I would love to look stupid in 2 weeks. I love Andor, and I still love Star Wars and all the things. I've dipping my way through Skeleton Crew. We'll talk about Tales of the Underworld soon. Very phenomenal. They're 3 for 3 with this series so far. I love it.
Right on.
So, yeah.
Right on. Okay. Moving on, boys. It's time. Now, for those of you who have not yet seen Thunderbolts, I would recommend you guys pause the podcast as of right now. Return later once you've seen it, because we are going full spoiler, whole time, all the way through, starting now.
Bang.
All right. So, what I will say,
that was very anticlimactic. I thought you were gonna do like a Thunderbolts or something.
The new Avengers.
Oh my God.
We'll get to that. We'll get to that. But
now we know what the asterisk meant. So, congrats.
Bingo.
Well done.
I will say, I loved the opening Marvel. You know how they do their normal Marvel opening with the comic book underlay.
Yes, and
it kind of faded into quiet, just silence with the void taking over.
HD to you guys? Is that?
It looks shinier.
Something. I think it's because they didn't have any of like the MCU cinematic stuff in the lettering. It was just the comic book stuff. So that's why it just looked way more
kind of
vivid.
Like a weird color tinted for normal.
Because they had a lot of the Century comics in there, so that's why I was like, oh, they took out all the video stuff and just put like, interesting.
And then it opens with a shot of Yelena, played by Florence Pugh, on the edge of a building, which she actually did this jump.
She's like doing her Tom Cruise impression,
Literally did this
to her though.
Like ballsy, like that's amazing. I love it.
To hold her composure as an actress and just say,
she said she likes heights. I was like, who likes heights?
Short people. That's who.
Protect this woman at all costs. That's all I gotta say.
She gets into it. It kind of poses the overall theme of the movie, where she talks about her depression and how things have affected her and her PTSD. Common theme for our podcast today, of what has been going on in her life and how everything has just kind of been crumbling. She's working for Val. She has to go in. Clearly, the lab is Sentry's lab, and they have to pretty much get rid of the evidence because things have gone wrong. Val's under auditing right now from Congress. Things are looking shaky. She tries to get rid of even more mercenaries that she has, including U.S. Agent, Ghost, Taskmaster. I just remembered Taskmaster.
Don't you dare laugh.
It was written in the trailers, kind of.
I was like, did anybody not expect it? You know what I mean? Yeah.
Well, first of all, I'm just gonna say this. I love this movie, but I am 100% in agreement with every bit of the fandom that is upset. That is a horseshit way to get rid of a character. Because we watched this film, Black Widow, or some people did. I did. I thought it was a pretty decent film. Probably should have been a Disney Plus show, realistically. But that character survives a literal building being exploded, confronts that trauma with Natasha, overcomes it, gets on a fairly sane, plain point of being, also escapes child trafficking, which is just a typical Tuesday, I guess, to meet that kind of end, really, in the quickest nonchalant fashion with no You know what I mean? I get maybe they didn't have a whole role for her in the movie, but like she could have been like the awkward character that's trying to socialize, but like none of her jokes land because she literally doesn't know how to talk to people. Like she could have been
like
that
a super
in this
dark
iteration.
joke that just like, yeah, then we just murder all of them, and it's like,
yeah,
oh.
and
They
everyone's
said
like,
that-
what?
I think I read somewhere that the original script kept her in it, and like it was a matter of she just didn't get along, or she kept thinking, or something kept like it's like sleeper agent thing going on, where every so often she would forget and then think that she's still on the mission to kill a U.S. agent, and so she would just randomly try to kill him. And throughout the movie, I was like, that actually would have been funny.
hilarious.
That would have been hilarious.
Yeah.
Like,
I was
why
like, that
did
would-
we ruin that? For the sake of just shooting her in the head real
Also,
quick? Like, that's dumb.
you know, big kudos and way to be like a professional in Olga Kurylenko to show up to the press, like
Yeah.
knowing
that's how
she
you're
doesn't
going to go out
survive
in the
more than like
movie.
a minute of screen
kudos
time.
to you.
She
bro.
gets
that's
not
phenomenal.
It's like a minute. It was like a second. Her face literally popped up. And
I
then
meant,
it was
like,
just a
her
body double
character,
for the
you
rest
know?
of it. Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
the other thing I was going to add to that is like, I don't know if you guys, I don't know if the director or writer talking about why they did it and that it was like to like show that anybody could get killed off at any second. Honestly, it didn't need that extra added twist. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
I
because
didn't need to feel like
spoiler alert, you didn't kill anyone else. The group.
Right, so like, where does else do that apply? Go
We have
like
to
they
show
all
that
they-
we're willing to kill, but like you
we're
guys
just
are
supposed to be
safe.
like Suicide Squad, where like that one guy gets his head blown off in the beginning, and then you're like, "Whoa, everybody can die." A little bit different. This one didn't feel like that at all. Like,
But also-
there's no stakes to that if that was the goal, because the
Agreed.
Suicide Squad, they all had the kill switch, which at any point in time, you know, she demonstrated. Oh, you guys think I'm kidding? Bow, dude's
Boom.
dead. And then the rest of the tone in the movie, boom, instant tension for the audience, because we're like, oh, she'll just kill him. Okay,
Yeah.
wow, okay, wow, okay. I guess they might
and
die.
also like
That's-
one of the only really
like-
recognizable actors in that original cast of people. Who was
right.
Like, wow, the one Indian guy. just
yeah. So
Unfortunately,
yeah, that one to me didn't really stick if that was the goal,
was so
especially for that
stupid.
open
Yeah.
sequence. But yeah,
And also,
the
like-
opening scene in there was also very fun. I
know, I'm not-
I liked how all the characters interacted there.
I'm not a big, military guy, but for someone that's going on death missions, you're telling me your mask,
isn't
not
bulletproof?
Like, I know it's point blank.
Listen,
I know it's point
Yeah.
blank. But
But
you're
also-
telling me.
seems like a pretty strong tactical flaw to have.
It's like, I just 3D printed this. It just looked dope. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
It just looked cool. Saw it on Pinterest.
It sounds like
they'll
we're really
throw it on.
nitpicking this movie. I promise you, this is one of the few nitpicks, at least on my end. For
Yeah,
the movie.
no, but that was
I have-
stupid though.
Yeah.
Even from a story choice, they should have just kept her as part of the group.
Yeah,
It
like
would
if
have
she
made
dies
a lot
later
more
on,
sense.
like sacrificing herself,
Yeah.
mission, okay. But
Like, I'm just very curious. Like, unless it's leading, I mean, we'll get there. Never mind. Well, I'll talk
get
about
there.
that later.
But
Yeah,
anyway.
yeah.
Opening sequence,
So
continue.
they're all
Yeah.
hired to kill each other. It makes sense, kind of like the cycle of, however. I think, was it New Rockstar? I watched half of their review of it, and they said it's kind of like the starter Pokemon. Like, each one can take each other out. Kind of like, it was just, that was how it was based off of. Big incinerator room, clearly to get rid of evidence of what Val was doing with the Ox Group, which is her holding company. We meet Bob, played by Lewis Pullman. I'm going to be upfront and say it. We'll get into more of it, but I think that he definitely outperformed what I think Steven Yeun would have done.
I'll happily say it.
Yeah, I
Also,
think
did
the
you notice
emotional-
that there was hilarious concept art
Invincible.
of Steven Yeun?
Or I was going to say, they
Steven
also
Yeun
kept
is
saying,
the
I'm
Sentry suit.
invincible. Like in the movie, I was
Yes.
like, Steven had
It's
said
amazing.
that. I think
yeah.
Steven Yeun would have crushed the emotional aspect that Bob had to play in the movie, where especially at the end where he confronts his trauma.
Right.
But I don't know if like the badass, like, what are you guys gonna do to me? Like, I don't think he could have crushed it as much as Lewis Pullman did in this role.
He did amazing.
Yeah.
He did amazing.
No, I was just saying, ironically, kind of, it's funny because I was watching a random podcast about another Asian actor, the guy who plays Rufio. But anyway, to point
Bosco.
to the fact that
Dante
like
Bosco.
they talked about how he talked about like in Hollywood they weren't really casting him because he was like too cool, so like they couldn't cast him as like the nerdy Asian kid in certain movies because they're like, you clearly look like you're, you know, not that nerdy. Kind of feel like that's like a similar feel with like Steven Yeun, where it's like, I don't know if I would have taken his awkward like kind of like shyness with Lewis Pullman's character the same, just because I feel like my thought process of him already is like cool Glenn, cool like Invincible, cool like every character he's outside of this is like a pretty cool dude.
He's
so
got
it's
a
like
cool demeanor about him.
Yeah, it'd be very hard for him to pull off. Lewis Pullman's pretty much unknown for the most part, so like killed it, bro.
Crushed it.
So good. Yeah,
I think he's not necessarily a stoner. He was on meth.
Yeah.
The chicken suit was on.
Had me rolling, dude, because he is just absolutely bodying everyone. He's like,
but his kind of like nonchalant stoner vibe when you first meet him, I really was attracted to is like his character. Like this guy's like cool to hang out with.
It was like the most. I think it was just him coming out of like. I feel like they were like making a joke amongst each other, and he just came out like.
That's funny.
He's like appeared from one of the boxes, like. I was like, that was.
But
we
lay some groundwork. Clearly, he doesn't like John Walker, U.S. agent. Probably, I'm assuming he shares some traits with what his dad was like. He obviously bonds with Yelena, and Ghost is just kind of here and there with that. But she plays a role in them escaping that. Silo, I guess hidden place, whatever you want to call it. I do think that the character dynamics between everyone in the movie worked perfectly. I think that there was a lot of funny banter, the emotional parts, the insults I felt, rather than it just kind of be thrown around, like whether it was just the expression of the person receiving the insult, they're like, oh, like you felt it for them. Like, oh, my bad. Okay. Clearly they escape. And who else but Red Guardian himself, David Harbour, comes through with the limo like, Yelena! He was the only one I feel like who could have done anything like that.
No, yeah.
And they get in the limo. Introduction to Bucky now no longer being a congressman, apparently. I don't know if he like just in the meantime stepped down from his role, but he comes through.
Kind of seems like one of those like
clearly still a congressman. He just like straight up gets to be the Winter Soldier and the congressman now. That's essentially how I took it. Like he's
that's
just
fair.
Because the scene before that, I think they was like, I don't really do that anymore. But then like he figured out like, oh shit, if I just bring all these people in, like we just put Val away. Like that's what I need. Okay.
Also, was there some flirtatious energy between Sebastian Stan and Mel? Is that just me? Felt
kind
that?
of feel like that was a little bit of the point, though, right?
I think that was supposed to happen.
Okay.
I mean, that was intentional.
I was curious,
because like Winter Soldier can do it all, right? Like he can technically like switch to like charming guy and then do his little like.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
True.
No, in the comics, he's an absolute Riz god. Like that's part of the allure of Bucky. Like he can, he's not.
Okay,
100%.
Well,
100%.
He's like, I was
Steve
9.
is not.
I was 90.
Steve is not. He is the opposite. Zero Riz for the original Captain America.
Well, he was
Steven.
socially awkward in some aspects. So.
Oh, that's true too, because you kind of forget that
he was the player when First Avenger.
Completely forgot about who he was beforehand. Yeah.
Bucky obviously is on a mission to bring them in more to indict Val, but then gets the phone call, figures out that there's something going on with Bob and the Sentry Project, and they have to go to the tower.
Can we just pause here before we go to that part? Because we just skipped over the entire car chase scene, which I feel like was just...
They gave Bucky his aura back.
Oh, yeah.
Bro.
It took us so long to give Bucky his aura back.
The rope
I know we saw in the trailer, but in the theater, it was just like...
Oh, my God. That's
so savage.
I was like, that was dope.
Yeah.
And the Terminator vibes popping up with the... I was like, man, this
absolute
dude...
peak.
Finally.
That was cinema.
Yeah.
Finally, bro. Yeah.
And Red Guardian just keeps like, I love that guy. Like, he's such a fanboy.
So cool.
Bulletproof-ish.
Don't touch that big gold cup.
It was like orange. I was like, what the hell?
What the hell has happened here?
Oh my god!
Yeah, I was gonna
Couldn't
say
pull
too,
over for a minute.
that was the first time in a minute where I've laughed pretty hard in the theater. But it was like that little quick. I think it was Walker in the back of the limo, and he was like, "Yeah, Bucky, yeah, yeah," and then like the thing attaches to the back. He's like, "Yeah, oh shit!" I was like, I don't know why I laughed so hard at that scene. He killed it.
Also, I mean, that car ride, they do give the introduction of the. I mean, they kind of elaborate a little bit more on the. I'm not going to remember the whole town name, but the Thunderbolts soccer team that Yelena grew up on. So clearly, that was already an indicator that
Shane's tires.
Shane's tires. Well, they said
never Shane's tires. Okay, it was,
gives an indicator that clearly it's not the Thunderbolts for a reason.
Right. That's why they have the asterisk,
right?
and that kind of lets you know. Oh,
it was a fun way to be like, because even when they first, he was like Walker in the backseat, just like go Thunderbolts, like it was kind of like sarcastic, but it was a great way to throw it in there and make it seem like
totally forgot. Clearly, when they're making their escape, Bob is. You can tell he's a good guy. He tries to sacrifice himself with the group to get away, and then the Void kind of comes out, and he's just like, I'm about to fuck y'all up. You guys should not be shooting at me. Flies in the sky, knocks himself out somehow, or just faints, I guess you could say, and then plummets straight into the cliffside. That was, I mean, my question to you guys is, in the future, how will Bob actually be utilized? We're going to get to the post-credit stuff about, him making that statement why he can't help them. But do you think Bob will rise to the occasion?
Well, it's going to be probably the same problem they had with Captain Marvel in Endgame. If he's just there the whole time, he solves all your narrative issues because of what the character does. So they've kind of, in a way, introduced a character that is going to be the most problematic to write around for Avengers films or anything that's kind of a halfway team up movie, because now you have essentially Superman in the MCU again. Probably a higher tier than Superman, honestly. He could kill Thor, he can kill Captain Marvel, he can pretty much anyone he wants at this point. He can literally just take on pretty much anybody. He's ridiculous.
That was definitely apparent in the movie.
Yes, no, there is literally nothing you can do to. You're just cooked.
So obviously, Val obtains the body, right?
Right.
Convinces him in the little kind of, I guess you could say, safe room. What's going on? Like, hey, I know you. Like, sweet talking him.
Is this nurturing enough?
Yeah,
I know.
Get out of here.
Wait, she literally is talking to her, asking her a question. She's like, is this nurturing enough? She's like,
also,
yeah, okay, just forget what I was saying.
Julia Louis-Dreyfus looks great for her woman in her 60s. Well done.
She really does.
She really does.
Kudos to her. I love her as Val, too.
Mentions dad. Then we kind of get the indicator of maybe that's where his trauma trigger is, right? That's where his trigger point. Yeah, let's be careful. Mentions to Mel, like, hey, I need you to make another kill switch, please, for the love of God. Which is fair. And moving forward, you get the Thunderbolts plummeting into the building, starting to take down all these agents, just for her to come on the intercom and say, I left the door open. Like, you guys could have just walked.
I thought it was funny, like right before that, where it's like, all right, what is your plan? He's like, plan. Mm-hmm. And you just smash through the front door. Like, it's like,
sounds about
plan.
Bucky. Right, yeah. Sounds about Bucky.
It was weird, though. I think they said that in the trailer, they cut out a part where right before they just run into it, like there's like this laughing like war cry between him and Red Guardian. I was like, I would have loved to have seen that in the theater.
Been hilarious. Yeah.
They get taken up the elevator to the Watchtower, which used to be the Avengers building. meet with Val, she starts insulting all of them in the best ways possible. What did she call? She called him Junior Varsity Captain America.
Yeah. It's like, damn, bro.
I can see you now, or something like that. I was just like, wow.
She's like, and who's this old Santa? Or it's like, the Red Guardian. Introduction to Sentry, clearly in a unironic superhero suit. I feel like this is definitely going to get updated to look more epic than it did. This is clearly like a marketing costume, if we're being plumb honest, in my opinion. For Sentry,
I think that's gonna be his MCU suit, bro.
I don't know. It just felt like
it's that corny in the comic.
They went through a whole marketing thing. Like, let's bleach his hair a little bit. Let's do this. Let's make him shiny and gold. I don't know. I feel like there's gonna be something
that's a suit. I'm telling you.
I'm thinking they're gonna do like a Captain America. I think they're gonna do a Captain America thing where it's kind of like, that first Avenger suit was kind of like old stars and stripes. Then all right,
this is it.
All right,
I'm telling you. Go look in the comics. His suit is minus the affinity for whatever. It's so funny. I don't know if you guys have noticed this either, but like for some reason, it like the diagonal lines on all the Marvel suits. That design,
texture.
Every single one has the exact same like angle line thing that goes
Shang-Chi
down.
and literally the exact same. And that was years ago.
I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is, why they do it at Marvel, but like that's the, so if they've got that kind of angular, it's his official suit, bro. I'm telling you, it is what it is.
Fair enough.
I wonder if it's like maybe
good
the
adaptation,
actual material is just like that's what it looked. I don't know. You know what I mean?
I think it's maybe like just to kind of get maybe not have the onus of like skin tight spandex, like to give it texture to make it look just a little bit more pop rather than just kind of like they're just wearing a leotard.
Just want to have a bulge, you perv. Gosh.
Yeah. No, I thought the suit looked great, and then obviously some shit goes down.
They try to attack him, and he's like, "I don't want to kill you," but clearly he can.
That was the first time I think since Infinity War where I was like, "Shit." like Thanos, the opening scene, like I was like when he beat up the Hulk, I was like, wow. And this is the next one. I was like, not since that one have I been like, wow.
I don't know if he could
crazy.
Like if he just has better vision or something, but he sees where like Ghost is moving and anticipates it, and I was like, oh my god. He has telekinetic abilities.
Is he stronger than Superman? I was going to ask Jay this because I feel like his power set is stupid.
His power set is God. Like he has telekinesis. He can fly. He's bulletproof. He's super strong. Like there's nothing he can't.
With his eyes. Just
he can melt guns with his eyes. No heat vision, but he has like the ability to just manipulate atoms and all that other dumb shit with telekinesis.
My question, I was trying to figure it out because just the way he moved when people were attacking him, is he phasing or is he super speed? I mean, I'm sure he has super speed, but is he phasing?
Super speed.
Okay. All right.
I think the way they did the effect kind of could give you that idea, but like that.
Because like someone was trying to tackle him, and it was like boom. He was like right behind him. I was like, that's a little.
I think the
big
part where
Superman
he threw Bucky into the air and then caught him in the air. I was like, oh my god.
Oh my god.
like,
yes.
Boy gave the 3-piece combo right there, and I said, oh my god.
Jeez.
And I was like. We saw it in the trailer, but I was like really hoping when like Bucky was like the last one, he got up, he unzipped his jacket, he's like, "Oh yeah, it's going down." And I was like,
"Come on,
nope." I was like, "Please, like get some shots in something."
I thought he was about to whip out some kind of like Wakanda tech that he learned down there.
Was he about to?
You know what I mean? But like, nah, it was immediate failure. Just immediate.
Was he about to like melt the vibranium arm? Was that what I was getting from that?
I think so. That was what looked like was happening. Yes.
Did you ask Jay the question about the shield? What is the shield made out of? Because we didn't.
What is U.S. Agent's shield made of? It.
At this point, it's just regular metal. Like it's not.
There's a lot of war-torn,
very strong
scratches on
like
it.
a bulletproof steel. Gotcha. I was curious.
It's just a steel carbon fiber.
And he decided to leave it as a taco. Sentry folds it like a taco. Also, for those listening, I was like, "What in the world?" And it doesn't change the rest of the time.
I think it's funny that he leaves it as the taco shield because, like,
I mean, it's
it
more
might just be better to
aerodynamic,
punch
maybe,
people
you know what
with.
I mean?
I guess maybe. Yeah, I don't. But
I can just
Can't
imagine
throw
trying
it
to
anymore.
block bullets. He's like, "Oh wait."
Yeah.
just holds it up. Flip. Damn it.
They get their asses handed to them.
I was gonna say to answer your question from earlier, though. I don't know how you utilize this character in a future conflict. That's to me that's going to be very difficult because.
Oh my God, Galactus! What do we do? Oh, Sentry just wins because.
It'd be even more wild if you could just like poof, like into the shadow.
That's what I'm saying. Like, oh, conflict over. Sorry.
He's just there.
End
He's
of
like,
credits.
Sentry, we need you. I'm Bob right now. I'm
Like,
can't let the void out, guys. I'm sorry.
do they, like,
Someone
I was gonna
just-
say,
I'll try to
do they
save
just
you.
like
You know what I mean?
he has to just be sidelined. Like I don't see how you utilize him.
I mean, it would have to be something where I don't know, maybe meeting with
Everyone dies. and
Meeting
he's
with
the
Reed
last one.
Richards, he puts like a mental block in that like just dampens his powers also, so like it kind of curbs his capacity. I mean, that's the only thing I can think of. I don't know. We'll find
Saw
out.
how that worked out for Professor X on Phoenix.
Or,
Really though, no, really though.
and hear me out. This is a hot take. The original Black Widow had to tame the Hulk. The new Black
Yelena,
Widow has to tame the Sentry.
I smell what you're stepping in, Sensei. All right. Hollywood, please just give us a call. Give Jalen a
Might have
call.
been like,
I was
might
like,
have been like.
print money, dog.
That's the take. I think that's how they're doing it. If they're going to do it, it'll be the old sun's getting low type vibe.
The sun's getting low.
Yes.
Moving forward, they go down the watchtower apparently just unscathed because Sentry doesn't want to hurt them. Val confronts Sentry, like, I need you to go kill him. He starts getting angry.
He's just like,
Shoves her
why?
against the wall, clearly about to just pop her head off her body. And the kill switch gets pressed by Mel, and you see him go unconscious for a second, and the shadow starts to take over. You know what I mean? Then it gets down to the bottom floor, and the Thunderbolts, depressed, defeated, start insulting each other even more. And they kind of go their separate ways, and we have this great emotional scene between Yelena and the Red Guardian. I was not prepared to see how much emotion or heartfelt kind of strings were going to be pulled in this movie. It was very welcomed once I saw it on the screen, because it was something that I think because I believe, if I'm correct, the director or something from which one from A24 was it the Everything Ever All at Once?
I believe so. Something in
In there. B?
I don't know.
It was B for one. They had a list of them in that one trailer.
Yeah.
This was on par with what I would expect from that behind the cameras group, and I think that this was awesome to see. We start getting a glimpse of the void just blacked out with the illuminated pupils, which I think was a great kind of design choice to have.
I love how they shot that, because in the comics, obviously, it's easy to do that kind of thing, but like to do that in real life and do that on camera, I love how they shot it, because it was very, very, very cool.
I was also going to say, I don't know if you guys noticed it, but I think as like throughout the movie, there were certain parts where when it was Bob talking and you could see he was kind of getting elevated. Did your volume for his voice kind of get like muffled, dampened? Was that just me? I felt like whenever he was kind of getting
that was a
agitated,
choice. Yeah,
like it
for
was
sure.
like you felt his voice kind of get muffled, like he was talking like that, like something was happening. And I thought that was a pretty good design choice. Either that, or it was just weirdly timed in my theater.
The sound just messed up.
I mean, if
Good
you
for
noticed
them.
it, maybe I'm not crazy, but
I kind of noticed it when it would
yeah, it
happen,
wasn't
but like I don't know if it
wasn't
was
very like
No.
emphatic.
Over my head.
It was subtle.
I was like, I thought you were gonna say how like the black kind of creeped in around in certain parts of the movie, like anytime he had.
Oh no, I definitely noticed that. Yeah,
like a slightly bad thought or whatever. There was always
touched Yelena or John Walker, and you kind of when they were coming out of it, you just see everything kind of fading back.
Yeah, and then the eyes thing. Yeah, that was definitely
And then mayhem starts happening. Helicopter starts crashing into buildings because he freaking doofs them like into shadows.
Trauma boxes. Is what the online people are calling them, but
trauma boxes.
Everyone's calling them trauma boxes.
Yes, right on. Okay. Yeah. And you see the Thunderbolts start coming back together to start saving civilians. Now, I was jaw on the floor when it happened, but there apparently were people who chuckled and laughed, like right when it happened. Red Guardian saving the little girl.
The little girl, yeah.
In your theater what was
everyone laughed.
Oh my god! They laughed.
What was funny about that scene?
Everyone laughed in the theater.
I was like, oh, that's so cute. Like I was like, I was like, oh, this kind of father figure coming out of him, and then I was like,
because here was the reason I laughed because
you're heartless.
No, my feeling was like
trauma.
They weren't gonna die, you know what I mean? Because even though I wasn't entirely sure what Void's power set was, my general gut feeling was like, these people can't be dead. I gotta feel like they're just somewhere, like wherever this Void is sending them to, kind of deal. So like, I think if she had actually just into dust and she was never coming back, kind of deal, would have been a little bit different. But the timing, the way the scene built up, and he like. Emotional music comes and he grabs her and then the thing lands. It was just the timing of it. I thought it was hilarious, and everybody in the theater apparently had the same dark humor I had. It was pretty loud with laughter as soon as it was like, "You're safe now, little one." It was like the timing was wild.
What the hell is wrong with all of you?
Hey, I did not laugh.
Go
I was
outside. Dear God.
You're safe now,
I did not
little
laugh at that scene. I, in fact, said, "Oh, damn."
No,
that was unfortunate.
I probably would have laughed at you if you were like sitting next to me like, "Oh, damn."
Well, because I was like, well, I mean, I guess if they're going for dark, that's a child. So
I was like,
points in the
I
dark
was also
column.
going to say though, that was the indicator where I knew that them
she wasn't
getting
dead.
Dusted were not being killed.
Yeah,
because I feel like that. I was like, look, Marvel's been taking some swings.
Yeah,
I don't know if child murdering would be their swing
in that big.
They never showed the other girl ever get shot. You know what I mean? So it's like, why show this girl get completely disintegrated?
Yeah. True, very true.
It's implied.
But then he starts taking over New York City. They're trying to hide in the buildings, and then Yelena clearly goes in because she has a connection with Bob, and she knows that she can bring him out. So
because she's a freaking boss, dog. Like, upgrade of the millennia on this widow. I'm sorry, Natasha, but like, old Scar J wasn't moving like that when stakes are up, big dog. You know what I'm saying? I'm sorry, dude. It ain't happening like that.
I'm not gonna lie, too. It was like, I don't think I could have bought ScarJo taking over as like a pseudo, like Florence Pugh. To me, she could be like, if they were like, this is the Avenger Squad. And that's what I'm saying. I'm with you.
Levels, bro.
Levels.
Then we get into the trauma box for Yelena, and it's clearly broken down into different traumas of her life. I was thinking at one point there was going to be a trauma one of like her seeing. I thought ScarJo was going to show up just like as a kind of like a cameo.
It would have been dope.
Would have
been so dope.
I mean, a dope surprise.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Eventually, she finds where Bob is hiding in his trauma box. You kind of get a little bit more insight onto his relationship with his dad, which wasn't really a good relationship at all. And the world, or the shadow box itself, or trauma box, starts crumbling and trying to attack them when they're trying to get out. And you got the Thunderbolts, who also apparently came into the void to go save them. Only thing I'll nitpick on this is, but I understood why they didn't, because it probably would have been just a whole nother 20 minutes of time on screen time. I did want to see everyone tackling their traumas. I think they made it a big point to incorporate like John Walker's, what happened with him and his wife and his kid. Obviously, we know Sebastian Stan's. Red Guardian probably has something going on. Ghost obviously had something going on. But I think just maybe like a little hint of it, like them being able to, because I was like, they joked about it where, like, yeah, Sebastian Stan went through a lot. It's like, you're telling me he just kind of came through like, yeah, I'm good, man. Don't worry. Like, you spent years in Wakanda trying to get that shit out your head. And apparently...
But I think that's why I'm on the opposite end of the fence from you. Like, I'm totally fine with them not, because we have Ant-Man and the Wasp. If you need to know the trauma box of Ghost, go watch the movie. True. That's literally her whole plot line. We have Falcon and Winter Soldier to address anything related to Bucky. We also have Captain America, the Winter Soldier, where you see him do horrendous things the entire movie. Crazy, I know. So we don't need that. I think budget would have been crazy. I will like
Stark's parents. Yeah,
yeah, that'd have been crazy. I will say the only one I'll give you kudos for, and I will agree, Red Guardian, because technically I think the only trauma that we really see is like, even though he was faking the whole time, he did love his family. Kids.
Yeah.
So like the trauma of having to just not have that anymore and watch his whole life get stripped away and not be the Red Guardian anymore, that would have been interesting. That would have been a box I would have been okay with seeing, maybe, just because it is kind of so close to Yelena, who's the lead of the movie anyway, right? So that would have been fine. But like, we understood John Walker, we understood Bucky, we understood Ghost. I didn't need to see their trauma boxes
also
so
random.
Much. So
not that we needed her in it. Where is Rachel Weisz? You know, like you escaped too with Taskmaster and
that was another
Red
question
Guardian.
that I had. Where's Mum? Where's Mum? What are you doing?
Yeah.
What are you doing, huh?
Just a little curious.
Figured maybe I'm sure.
Set this one out?
I don't know.
Imagine that was his trauma box. Like somehow she died in between Black Widow.
That would have been hard.
Lou, calm the fuck down, dog.
I was gonna say honestly between the two, I mean, now when you put it out there, Red Guardian would have been interesting to see. John Walker, I also wouldn't have minded because
I was like, we got I guess you could say the precursor to what happens, but
the only thing I was gonna say too is like, I feel like because the movie was so, you know, heliocentric on just Florence Pugh's, you know,
it made sense. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
They make it out of the void. Curious, random question. I get it, but also like, where did
I would also like to say I called it. I totally said that this was going to be one of those like, we're all friends moments.
Yeah. Pretty much.
That was also my prediction, and talking with like my
I was expecting them to do like a fellowship moment,
we
like,
don't
you have
just
my
simply
shield,
defeat
and you have
Sentry.
my sword. You know?
Yeah.
No? Okay.
We were
What's
absolutely
that? You're a nerd. No, I'm just because we always send each other Lord of the Rings memes.
Son of a bitch. This whole time I've been sending it to someone else. Like,
yeah.
Where did Sentry's suit go? You know, like he came out as Bob. I was just curious. He was in sweats. Like I was like, you know, just curious.
It's like the Iron Man one. It can just.
Let's say it's the MCU. He's got the little belt that he's just literally just gonna put on in a movie, and it's just gonna boom, boom, suit. Like that's what it is. Or yeah, Century. That's what's gonna do. Yeah.
You can make an S.
Ooh.
Girl, don't be tempting me now. I'm gonna have to rest something in.
Shit.
Instead of like heroic music, it's literally just like, and I will be tonight, and I will die for you. It's like the peak emo music as soon as the boy gets on.
That would be pretty funny.
It'd be amazing.
So, once again, they make it out. Val is playing them. Once she's being a mass manipulator, like she has been the whole time.
Dog. You know what I mean?
Yeah, she's standing there like, I need you know evac right now. Blah blah blah. and they start following her behind a curtain. Of course.
Also, they were out of the void for like 2 minutes. Who set up the barricade thing? You know,
that's what I'm saying. How did she?
They just poofed
That's
back.
impressive.
How did
movie magic
who set that up? You know,
and there's press there, everyone, and she introduces them as the new Avengers.
Yep.
How are we feeling about them going this route? Obviously, I know that this they're not technically the Thunderbolts in comic book accuracy, or even, you know, how that kind of works. Do we like that they, I'm assuming temporarily, are calling them the new Avengers?
I love it. Good for Kevin Feige. I'm glad that he just came out and said it. They're the new Avengers. And then also it's kind of in line with the comics. They do take, like, they are the Thunderbolts, but they also do get called the new Avengers at some point.
Oh, okay.
And they are led by Bucky. So, like, there's a run of that, and his costume is literally just a shot, like, design-wise, it is fucking perfect. It's exactly how he looks in the comic, and I'm glad they gave him that suit. So yeah, from that run. So I'll try to find it and send in the group chat later.
Okay.
But no, I love that they are the new Avengers now, and I think it's funny that there's that kind of like very interesting moment in the post-credit scene as well, which I'm sure we'll get to after we. I mean, that's pretty much the end of the movie. That's kind of that's pretty much the end of the movie. We get a cute scene with Bread Guardian in the grocery store. That's the other post-credit scene that doesn't really impact anything.
Like,
but the real post-credit scene is right. is them walking into the new Avengers Tower, which obviously has now been refurbished because they're the new Avengers. They supposed to stay, and they're talking about Sam Wilson.
Not being okay with this.
The Avengers, yeah, because that's kind of fucked that Bucky joins the new Avengers, but doesn't come calling when Sam literally at the end of his film.
I feel like you can see it on his face too, like Bucky. Oh, he's like,
the Avengers.
Sam was not happy about this.
Yeah, like, so that's going to be interesting to resolve whenever we get to it's Doomsday first and then Secret Wars, right? Yeah. So when we get to Doomsday, and see how all that goes down. And quite literally, guys, again, where is my money? I said the plot line through all in all that somehow the real reason that they're in this weird Jetsons sci-fi thing in the Fantastic Four movie. Hello, what do they see on the screen? It's the Fantastic Four ship entering the atmosphere. I called it, loved it. Can't believe I'm right. Now, a bit ballsy to be doing that big of a spoiler.
Well, it is the next movie.
You could have just left it in the Fantastic Four movie. You could have put this post-credit scene in the Fantastic Four post-credit scene to connect all the dots.
Maybe their first interaction will be the post-credit scene of Fantastic Four, because obviously the movie will most likely end with them entering the Earth's
But now we know I mean, not that we didn't know, but like it takes away from that movie's kind of, you know, that their time that we would, you know what I'm saying? It takes away the mystery and like the aura of it. But
there's also like there's some unspoken givens. Like, you're gonna know that those four are gonna survive the movie Fantastic Four. You know that at some point
that?
Okay, that's fair, but you know.
We don't know who's in the ship. It didn't show their faces
to our universe.
We don't know that Nate Richards is making it out of there. He's a baby.
Maybe it's just.
What if it's just what if it's just the baby?
You know,
what if it's
somebody else
Silver Surfer?
Somebody was like, what if it's like the Michael B. Jordan cast steps off of the ship?
Holy!
That would be the most legendary swaparoo of all time, and I am here for it.
That would be insane.
Come on.
Come on now.
There. You know what I mean?
Come on. Come on. Let's do it.
If they got them back, they got Miles Teller, Kate Mara, what's his name? Jamie Bell, and Michael B. Jordan to come back as that.
That'd be crazy. The only thing crazier would be if the OG cast walked out and like it's Chris Evans as actually, listen, come on, like, tell me that shit.
Tell me
would not be hysterical.
Tell me walking off the ship.
No, actually, you know what'd be more hysterical is if it's different versions of each. Like it's like Sue Storm from like the newer one, but it's like Reed Richards from the old one. It's quite literally just like a fan cast of the most random characters thrown in
Full
together.
multiversal Fantastic Four. Let's just go crazy.
But it is looking very exciting. But overall, you love the movie?
Yeah.
Banger, right?
Banger.
I think it was an absolute banger for sure.
Honestly,
this was
Must
a win.
see, an absolute must see. We're back. This felt like we are again since Feige has been back on the train driving the caboose.
Damn right.
We are heading towards a destination. The movie felt like they incorporated some things from other films and talked about the stuff from Brand New Day, and it was Brave New World, which we literally just saw.
It was isolated,
right? Bow boom, but it felt like, okay, it's isolated, but we know that the events are in the same world because they mentioned Brave New World. Sam Wilson's obviously got that connection in the post-credit scene, but like this felt like an OG Marvel movie, and that's what I wanted. That's what I wanted to feel. That's how I felt about Brave New World when I walked out of it. We are heading towards something. We are going to Doomsday with X-Men and the Fantastic Four and all these things. So, yeah, fantastic film, cinema. Need to go see it. Great movie, great production, great acting. Florence Pugh, my God,
hilarious.
Yeah,
just an absolute delight.
Yeah.
You know, Scarlett Jo had to walk so that way she could run. Is kind of my vibe.
She could jump off buildings, had to be, if we will.
True, if jump off buildings. She had to be the slutty version of Black Widow, so that way we could get the real character version later on. That's really what had to happen. I'm sorry, ScarJo. It is what it is.
You think Bob and Yelena are gonna be a thing? You know,
I just see that's another thing that people have been. I don't get that vibe. I got more of a good friend vibe. I did not get this weird like romantic trauma vibe.
Bob's
like
been
it just
through
didn't.
So much. He was on meth, and you friend zone him.
Yeah, I didn't get that vibe because I think the whole message of the movie was how Yelena's character is she is that dependable person that will help you and not in that capacity. Like she is the upgrade to her sister. And not that, Natasha was a terrible superhero or like a bad Black Widow, but like low key, Yelena's kind of clearing in a lot of characters right now. Like, yeah, bow bang, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
She's doing phenomenal work here.
Yeah, I was gonna say honestly, my only adding thoughts to that are that it was a great movie, just without the whole
in a vacuum.
Like there was no Marvel, feel to it other than the obvious of like Marvel's mattering. Yeah, exactly. Like to me, like the trauma stuff was great. The emotional scenes were heavy. The horror element, which kind of popped in every now and then, like throughout like the trauma rooms and stuff like that, where it kind of got like really real. To me, it was really good because Marvel hasn't typically gone that dark before. They've always kind of strayed away from that and kept it very light. And like, I'm glad that they're finally going that deep with these movies. Clearly, whoever Kevin Feige and all them who kind of chose to let this movie go that deep into like the mental health side of things. Mm-hmm. I mean, they
mental health awareness
did work.
Well done.
Didn't even realize it.
They knew what they were doing.
They knew what
they knew what that was going on.
And say what you want, Nepo baby, whatever. I don't give a shit. Lewis Pullman, top.
He's a star, bro.
He's a star.
He's so good.
He really did a great job of bringing some. I think just the kind of the variety, right? The way that he was the range that he could get
reserved,
in and out of this character,
angry,
haunting, because his voice was
broken. Like, holy shit, that was terrifying. I was not a fan. I was like, get me out.
I was gonna say the part where he's like, but I'm a god. I don't have to listen to you. Like even the way his voice like, I'm like, all right, dog.
That was.
We about to kill everybody.
Yeah.
I
think that was one of the moments where the volume kind of did that weird like shift, and I was like, I think to me that was like, I'm actually scared.
The moment, by the way, I mean, because I knew like you can't actually kill Sentry, like no matter what you do. So the moment this like kill switch thing happened, I was like, so that's how
you piss him
we're doing the void. Okay, all right. Well, because that was my only thing. I was like, okay, so we've gotten the Sentry part, but like, how are they going to pull off the void? That's a very weird thing to try.
And it made
then
sense
I saw that,
to beat the void. You have to internally do so, right? Right.
Did it give you
the void,
flashbacks
yes.
to was it Mission Impossible or the one where like they like do the kill switch on the girl in the helicopter and her eyes just like and she like drops dead? Was that Mission Impossible? Or am I thinking of something else? It was like that blonde lady. I forgot what movie she's in. She was in like Iron Man, the first one. She was like the reporter lady. But, yeah.
Leslie Bibb. I don't remember.
Oh no, you don't remember that? I was like, I immediately got that as soon as the scene happened.
Your
I was
homework
just
is to go find out which movie it is.
Yes.
Got you, dog.
Tell us next week.
But
Do it.
overall, fantastic movie. Go see it in preparation for July, which is, I believe, the release of Fantastic Four.
Please help this film because it almost made its budget back globally opening weekend, so it does need some chutzpah to be.
I'm wondering to
profitable.
see how the shift in marketing to new Avengers is actually if it's going to hurt it or help it. You know, we'll
I'm
find
not gonna lie, I
out.
saw it twice already. So
A lot of people are not thrilled, from what
Yeah.
I understand, because they couldn't go see it opening weekend, and now it's kind of being like, well, why you couldn't wait 2 weeks to do that and
Yeah.
give people time to see it, build the hype up a little bit. So yeah, I do think it's interesting they're flipping the marketing now.
Yeah.
But we'll see how it works out.
Right on.
I'm hyped for it. Hopefully it does well.
That'll do it for our trailer or episode reviews and movie review segment of Post Credits. Thank you guys for joining us this week. We hope you guys have seen Thunderbolts, or else you really just ruined the movie for yourself. Other
really
than
did.
that, thank you for making us a part of your day.
Terrible.
We enjoyed having you be a part of ours. From all of us here at Poi N Soy, good vibes and love.
bang bang.